Here we go. Everybody, welcome back to 32 All the Way. This is, I don't know, a reboot. I don't know what we're going to call it. We tried to do this last time, but I messed it up on our end. We have Sarah, I guess you could say, back. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Paul. How are you doing?
Great. Yourself?
Yeah, really good. Thank you.
We are going to talk about basically what we talked about last time, except I messed up the interview. Sarah has a fantastic page online. Maybe you'd like to tell us the title and a little bit about it on Facebook?
Yeah, the title's Tackling Online Abuse. The reason why it started was because I started getting a lot of messages and friend requests on Facebook that were quite inappropriate. So I kind of reached out to a few of my friends to find out what their experiences were. And I was inundated with loads of screenshots of everyone else's experiences. So I thought that I'd start a page that was a nice, safe place that people could actually expose the people that were sending these awful inappropriate messages. And really that was how it started, and it's kind of exploded since then.
It really has.
It really has, yeah. I didn't really expect the response that I've had. I've kept it very light-hearted, so
I was going to say, I think
yeah.
Sorry, I think a big part of it is you're making your point, but you're not. You're not. It's not ad hominem attacks, and you're not.
No, it's not. No.
For example, the one that keeps coming up in my mind was, there's no other way to say it. That fucking asshole that was talking about hugging people when they were having a meltdown, and you were just saying your point of view that from your own experiences, the worst thing somebody could do would, come here and put you in a hug.
Yeah.
That even your, I can't remember if you said your husband or one of your children, like they know not to do it.
Oh, my husband, yeah.
Right. So how is this guy going to soothe you by dropping this on you? And then when you told him, you were still, even when he got really nasty, you weren't over the top. But Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like, I think he got banned from a lot of people's pages. I usually don't ban people. I didn't want to hear from him because I made a comment on the bottom, and then he turned on me, and I feel like it's doing this. But I messaged him and said, "Dude, you don't want to start this fucking argument." You know what I mean? You're not talking to a whole bunch of ladies now, and it's just it's outrageous. We were joking before about the parts pick. I guess we'll be polite and say it that way. Is that ever impressed a woman ever?
Never. Never. Well, certainly no one I know. No.
I don't want to get into anybody's personal background, but I'm assuming you know what one looks like.
By now,
I'm assuming you're not that overly impressed when you see somebody else.
Not the prettiest thing in the world, no.
You know what I mean? I don't get it. And the other, just I guess the flip between the sexes, you don't see women doing that.
No, you don't. I mean, like, obviously you get a lot of women that tend to post on Instagram that will actually have quite suggestive pictures, but never do they really send a picture of down there,
you'll get a shot of their butt, or you'll get a shot of their, or you'll get the whole package. But just to a focus down there, again, from the same point of view, I'm telling you, they all pretty well look the same to me.
Yeah.
Have you had?
But what they don't realise is that if they send it to me on my personal page, it's going straight on my online abuse page. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe it made some people think, because we had this discussion in the last one. I try and, I didn't think to divide the Facebook in between my author stuff and my personal life. We already had that one going, so we just made an extension out of that.
Yeah.
But I know there are some times where, either I think before I post something, or I want to rip somebody to shreds, and I don't do it because I know it's going to come back to bite me in the ass.
Yeah.
Do you think this has had the same effect on people? Are people backing off, or are you just still finding idiots everywhere?
Well, we're still finding plenty of idiots everywhere. I don't think that's ever going to change. But something really positive that did come out of actually yesterday, a guy had posted that he thought it was it every father's right to deflower his daughter?
And where do you start with that?
So of course that blew up, and I looked on my friend list, and he was on my friend list, and he was joint friends with some people I knew. So I made sure that I shared the hell out of that.
Oh yeah.
And it took his page straight down.
You know what? I missed it. I missed it. I got to go back and look for that.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Within an hour, his page was down. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not going to start up another page, which no doubt he will, but it felt like a small win to get that off the internet and off Facebook. So, I mean, God, nobody agreed with him. And I think as soon as
is there any culture anywhere in the world that is an acceptable methodology for making someone a woman? And even that sounds horrible that I use that phrase, but
apparently there is some religions that say that the daughters should always save themselves until marriage, but but they're actually owned by the father beforehand. So yeah, someone actually pointed out that it is actually part of a religion. So he wasn't agreeing, he was just educating me. So
wow.
Every day is a school day.
We talked earlier. I've shifted most of my stuff onto Twitter, and I tried to do along. Hopefully it picks up for you. It's just that I just can't listen to people shit on Facebook some days. I just can't.
Yeah.
And there's been some positive there's been some positive things that have come from it. One of the schools I was at a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Through a whole chain of really weird events, we got to meet Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, and we had a little girl that begged me to get his picture, and I said, his autograph, and I said, man, there's gonna be like thousands. I can't promise. Oh, please, please, please! You always do stuff for us. Through a whole chain of events, I don't want to take up the whole time talking about your interview, but I lucked out. I caught his eye. I spoke to him in French, I think, which made him turn around, and we got the picture.
Yeah.
A perfect example of something positive. I had friends calling me from all over the country saying, what are you doing standing beside the Prime Minister? Because it made the picture of all these pages. The lady who worked in our office was from Leeds, and it made a couple small papers in the UK. Now, obviously not as big as it did in North America, but I told the kids, I said, this is something positive. And that would, what is that, 2017, 2018, 2017? With Trudeau. So that was 2017. And every now and then I still get somebody saying, what are you doing standing beside the Prime Minister? It was great publicity for me in the school. I have it on my page if you want to go and see it. But I'm trying to tell the flip side of that. Don't send some boy a picture of you in your underwear. Don't send some boy a picture of you taking your top off, because people are going to be able to find it I deleted it. Well, somebody took a snapshot of it first.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had that one that was
and a lot of the young people nowadays use Snapchat, so it's a quick picture, but you can screenshot Snapchat, so those pictures don't just disappear. They can end up on the internet, and it worries me so much about children nowadays just thinking it's okay, because the life is solely on the internet now. So
I have 3 or 4 talks that I have with just about every class at the beginning of the school year, and that is one of them, just saying, here's a perfect example. And then I'll always put up like a generic girl, and you have her covered up, obviously, but you say, hey, don't send boys pictures like this. Don't send pictures. There is a small example of on my Twitter, one of the girls at school, she was dressed but not very much, and it came to my feed because my Instagram feed. And when I saw her at school the next day, I said, take that down. I said, what? Take that down. You know what I mean? Well, I know. Take it down. You have a choice. Take it down, or I block you from my Instagram, because I can't find anybody having anywhere near the suggestion that, hey, she sent it to Mr. Laffrey. No. So I think it's a great service that you're doing, and I'm glad that it's blown up. There hasn't been too many personal attacks coming directly after you, because I'm assuming you're the admin.
Yes, it's just me. So everything comes to me directly before it goes on the page.
Okay.
The reason for that being is that I can moderate what goes on there, because the last thing I want is for any bullying to continue on the page, and I want people to feel safe and comfortable with sending things to me, so I can expose these people for who they are. I mean, I even block, I'll block out names, so it's completely anonymous. And it's just a safe place for people to actually come and feel comfortable doing that, because I think quite often people will just sort of like blow it off, or they'll get really upset and they have nowhere to go. So I mean, I do interact with a lot of the people that actually post on there as well, and I've had to calm down a lot of people that are really, really upset with what's been said to them. So, it's offering that little bit more than just a posting page, really.
What I like is you haven't changed it too much. And again, you're pretty soft-hearted about it, because I've been in my moods and taken some shots at you just for the hell of it. You've jokingly nailed me pretty good a couple times.
Yeah.
But
not literally.
No, exactly. It's not severe where I'm like, fuck, I'm never talking to Terry. But it's just I don't know. I'm trying to put it into words. Like, do you think some of these people are trolling you, or is this just actual shit that these guys are posting and this is what they believe? Because I'm scared to think some of them believe it.
I think some of them genuinely do believe it, but I think quite often it's a case of phishing, so they'll just throw out a load of messages all at the same time and hope that somebody might come back to them. But just as a test, every now and again I'll interact with them and see where it goes, and then it could be anything. So they'll go very quickly into that they are you married, or do you have any children, where do you live? And quite often, if it is a phishing post, they can, if they're trying to find personal information from you, then they can end up stealing identities, opening up credit cards, loans, all sorts. So you have to be so careful.
It's just, again, maybe it's just coming from that age. As soon as you're asking me too much, or you're asking for a credit card, bye, later. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's it's not happening. And you read these ones, and I think it's sad to think that someone's been that lonely for that long time. I don't know if you're familiar with the case. It's Grant, I think the last name is Amato. He sent $200,000 American to some Facebook model in Bulgaria. $200,000 that he stole from his family. I'd be furious with you if you took $20 from me. This guy liquidated $200,000 from his family. When they cut him off, he went back and killed everyone in his family, except the one brother that wasn't.
Oh my goodness!
Like, and who is responsible here? Like, obviously he's responsible. Yeah. But who else is responsible? They tried to charge the woman, and the woman said, I never let him on. I never told him I was his girlfriend. You want a video, it's so much for the video. You want to see everything, it's so much to see everything.
Yeah.
How does anybody who is not completely deluded, like, that'd be like me getting off this interview and saying, that was really great. I think she's in love with me. But that's not the case. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think I'll start.
I know.
I think I'll start sending Sarah big checks. Like, no, like. There has to be something wrong with these people, no?
I think a lot of the time, like you say, they are preying on vulnerable people. So they prey on someone who, I don't know, has maybe just suffered a loss, and they need that sort of human interaction. And I mean, they are so clever in sort of trying to get to know you and showing that they really care. And before long, it can be can you pay for some plane tickets so I can come and see you? And very, very quickly can escalate into something really terrible.
I was researching it for our interview today, and she was very adept at never, like, he was, as far as he was concerned, this was his chick, and he was the only one he was the only one online. She was very adept when they were showing the transcripts of, like, she never, like, she doesn't even tell him she loves him. She tells him he's kind of cool and he's a nice guy. But his side of the story, like, they're doing this and they're doing that, and it's going to come to this, and it's just like, man, like, you've all seen that friend that's chasing somebody or doesn't know that the partner's cheating on him, and you're like, dude, come on, you knew this. You knew this.
Yeah.
You just didn't want to know it.
Yeah.
But I was trying to find some examples for yours. And just, again, yours is really enjoyable. Anybody who's going to go on Facebook, I really encourage them to check it out, because, again, it's not it's not done in a savage way. You're not out. It's not a.
No.
It's not a Dateline thing where you're snaring people in. It's people just.
Well, the
based on
last thing I
stupidity.
wanted. Well, the last thing I wanted to do is to be another platform for bullying other people online. So, you know, I am very careful with, you know, what I actually post. It's not to bully people, it's to expose them for what they're doing. So,
and this is what they all seem to turn into.
Yeah.
I just had the first experience on Twitter this morning where, you know, long story short, you know, dude, fuck off. And don't be on my page. You know what I mean? If I'm not that much of a tool, you know, just go. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about.
I think people.
Sorry?
I think just to say one thing. I think people should be a lot more confident with blocking people. You know, as soon as it starts like, "Hey, beautiful," blah blah blah, just block straight away because it's never going to go anywhere good.
I always thought it was a last resort, and we were just talking about this. My wife and I have talked about this a lot in the last couple of weeks because my own social media is expanding a little bit. And maybe it's an old-fashioned view, but I just started with the religion and the politics. If you're going to be, if you want to bring up your stuff, okay, whatever. If you are too extreme in either direction, in either subject, just go. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luckily, we're from a country that is pretty centrist, right? And we got our nuts and our idiots here too. But we're in a country that's pretty centrist, so it's easy to listen to other people's ideas or to, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's crazy. Let's talk about the day gig.
Yeah, my actual job. Yeah, I'm a copywriter. So I write copy for businesses. So if any business needs anything writing, like from their websites, blogs, social media, leaflets, anything that they could possibly use the written word for, that's what I do for them.
This is the big reason when we originally started talking, and then I started doing these interviews that I wanted to talk to you. And just, you know, you're working on a book, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but to tell the kids, like, the switch of a word or two. I don't care if it's a restaurant menu, if it's a blurb for your book, if it's the essay, it's so important that they go to somebody like you. Because a fairly horrible idea can be turned into something usually legible at the very least. If the idea is really bad, I have my own opinions, and maybe the idea is just going to be really bad. But what do you see? Like, are people fully formed, and then you have to come in and say, no, that's not working? What do they usually bring you?
You know, people come from all sorts of stages of business. So, you know, I'll work with startups, and if I am working with a startup and helping them put their business materials together and their website together, I work really closely with them so they can manage it moving forwards, and, you know, so try and sort of educate them a bit. But then on the other hand, I've worked with some really established businesses that I think are so close to their business that they fail to see that their copy might be boring or old-fashioned, or, you know, just terribly worded. I mean, the amount of websites I've come across with terrible spelling errors and grammar, and, you know, it's like, you're giving this to customers, you know. And I think once you kind of, in a nice way, point out where they could actually enhance the website, I think they're quite taken aback, and they're like, you know, I think at first you kind of get that resistance because they don't want to change. But then they realise that, hang on, their competitors are doing it. If their copy isn't selling the business, they need to be doing something about it.
Is there major pushback from them changing their ideas or changing the wording of their ideas?
I've never really found that, no, because I always involve the business in what I'm writing, so I work really closely with them. So, you know, we have open discussions and, you know, open dialogue the whole way through. So, you know, I will guide them, but also I need to know their business inside out to write about it as well. So, you know, it's very much a two-way relationship.
And that leads into the next question. I'm assuming that it's research and editing. That it's a company that you don't know about.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you have to sit down and say, okay, like, I don't know anything about, you know, a guy who wants to sell a Vice. Do I, you know, do it?
Yes.
is it 50-50? How do you think it plays out?
Oh God, I would say research is probably 70% of
Oh,
it.
okay.
30% is probably the writing. I can, put an A4 page blog together in half an hour, but I might have spent 4 hours researching it. So, I think the research is absolutely essential, because ultimately you're writing it for an audience that knows what this product is or what this service is. So if I don't research it properly, they're just going to know that it's written by an amateur, that, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. And there's no point in having the blog.
One, a teacher who's helped me out a lot in the last couple of years, a lady from Russia, actually, who's a physics teacher, something I don't understand at all. Due to her, I have a basic understanding of what physics is now. And what she told me was, she used to come and sit in on my French classes, and I used to go to her math classes. And her thing is, anybody who writes or anybody who's a teacher should at least be able to explain to you the basic analogy of what they're teaching. Right? Yeah. I'm never going to never be able to sit out and figure those big things on the wall when they do all the formulas, but I have a basic understanding of it. And it amazes me how people will not give you that benefit, that basically come to you with a copy where, in this day and age, we spoke about it last time. We spoke about it on Messenger a couple times. Like, there's no excuses. Yeah. Forget your spelling mistakes. There's no excuses for the grammar. Run it. If you're not confident with, I personally don't do it. I don't think I have great grammar, but I think it fits in how I write. But if you're, run it through Grammarly or whatever the popular thing is.
You know yourself, even as a writer, you use an editor, you use a proofreader.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the same thing, and you do that. That's what you do. So it's no different for a business. Their business isn't writing. My business is writing. Their business isn't writing. If I need, I don't know, a boiler fixing, I'm going to phone a plumber. I'm not going to try and do it myself. And that's the analogy that I always use.
I don't know why people don't take that into consideration with the editing. And the example I was going to give you was, I don't know if this became a big deal in the UK, but by the late 70s, early 80s, when the technology of the videotapes and all that became big, it seemed like everybody, we're going to do our own commercial. And I mean, some of them are just still to this day, like, dude, what are you? The guy's not, dude, this is why you hire actors. This is why you hire somebody to tell the actor what to say. It was just, usually, I don't know how it went, but the one of the two things I found here was that it was usually used car salesmen, or it was usually for women who, and not disparage the women, were nowhere near as attractive as they portrayed them to be. And you're like, come on. There's a million women waiting to sign up to do that kind of work. It's just, it's terrible. But again, just from my point of view, the editing can't, it has to be done for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's great. They can also, the abuse page is on Facebook. What about the actual Right Idea? Do you have a website I can put on the bottom when I do the little blurb?
I do. Yeah, it's www.rightidea.me.uk.
rightidea.me.uk. You're so old-fashioned. I think you're the only other person besides me that still says that. www. Everybody just launches into the site. And for the long time, I'd be like, it's got that thing in front of it. It's all got that in front of it. What about the book? Let's talk a little bit about the book without giving it away. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so the book originally started as a project, just a little side project, just another one, a little side project, and it happened before COVID-19, and it was going to be all about a virus. And then I kind of had to change tack, because I realised that, coming up in the next few months, there's going to be thousands of books about the virus.
Amazon,
so
not to cut you off, Amazon actually had something on for a while saying they won't take any COVID books right now, because everybody was sending something about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So what it's basically turned into is a parasite, a horror book about parasites, so you can expect a lot of gore. And
Yeah.
you know, there was one chapter that I actually felt physically sick after writing. So I'm hoping that when someone reads it, you know, they'll have the same sort of feeling, because that's what you want from a horror book. But yeah, so it kind of changed direction, but I'm early enough in the writing to be able to do that. So
influences on the horror?
Richard Lehman.
I'm not familiar with him.
He's amazing. Graham Masterton as well. Matt Shaw.
Those ones I'm familiar with. The first one, I'll have to look that up. Lehman?
Ed Lee as well. Richard Lehman. Yeah, he's died now, unfortunately. I think he died in about 2005.
Okay.
But he's been my inspiration the whole way through. He's my favourite writer, and if you haven't read him already, I'd highly recommend him.
Oh, okay. Just such a great history of UK horror actors. Christopher Lee, and Peter Cushing used to scare me to death when I was a kid.
I love Hammer horrors. I've got them all. Absolutely love them.
Peter Cushing used to scare me to death. Even the scenes in Star Wars where he was just like, "Ah!" That's that guy from.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Is Christopher Lee still alive? I think he is.
I'm not sure, actually. I don't think he is. I think he died not so long ago. Oh, I don't know. We'll have to have a look.
I know Peter Cushing is gone, because when they did when they started doing the Disney Star Wars ones, they did the So that one is supposed to be the one that starts actually just before Star Wars. I don't know if you got around to seeing it.
Yeah.
There's one scene where he turns. I thought they did okay for the CGI. A lot of people disparage them. It's like, dude, we got a dead guy here. I mean, we're never going to find anybody who acted like it.
Yeah.
But I was still scared to see him turn around. I'm like, I thought he was dead.
It's amazing what they can do with technology nowadays.
It really is. We're kicking around some different ideas, and I'm sure your clients do as well. And there was a time where, you know, anything out of the ordinary, people, man, we can't do that. Do you have any idea how much it's going to cost you? I was just talking to a buddy of mine with a drone and doing some filming, and he was like, yep. He's like, well, that one I don't know. Yep. Just went down the list. It really is.
It's very clever.
Are we having a time frame on the book?
I'm looking to release in a year.
Great.
So within the next 12 months, that's the plan.
I think it really gives you a huge leg up, so to speak, or whatever colloquialism you want to put in there. The fact that the editing and the copywriting and all that, to when it, you know, to have it look properly like a book. I don't want to say anybody's names and single anybody out, but I've got about a half a dozen books in the last month or two, and there's errors in mine. We made some mistakes in mine too, but there's one that I'm having trouble reading. It's just like, dude, so many mistakes in here. And try and tell people again, like one of the things that we've been talking about is, you know, when we go through the editing again, you know, gonna have to, till my eyes bleed checking this thing on the computer. You know, my wife's gonna have to go through. We're gonna have to give each other sections and say, you know, did you miss this? Did you miss that? I think that really gives you a jump where, not that it doesn't have to be done, but you have a much better cover of what's going to have to be taken care of.
Oh yeah.
Sarah, I thank you so much for your time. Sorry, go ahead.
So even when I'm looking at releasing mine, I'm still going to hire an editor and proofreader to do mine. So
even some of the best editors, I guess you can go back to that cliche about a lawyer who represents himself as a fool for a client. Whatever. The gentleman who helped me with my editing, the very well-known writer, he just, hey man, people make mistakes. You know, that's just the way it is. But again, just, you know, it's never going to change. There should always be, try and tell the kids all the time, don't care if it's your roommate, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, there's always should be a second pair of eyes.
Second pair of eyes, absolutely.
There's something you're going to miss. There's something you're going to miss. That is awesome. I'm going to put all these little things in the bottom of the video so people can follow you. And hopefully when the book comes out and it starts selling, you can come back on and talk all about it.
I would love to. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Sarah.
Thank you, Paul.
Bye.
Bye.
I did it without fucking it up. Oh, now you did.
Hey. No,
I was going to say, I did it without fucking it up, and then you hung up. I'm like, no.
No, I didn't hang up.
How did it go?
That was really good.
Sorry,
I think better than last time.
It's the transatlantic thing. I was trying hard not to cut you off. That's
I
why
know.
I was saying sorry.
No, that's fine. I understand.
And you know what?
How do you think it went?
I think it went great. You know what? We're still recording though. Fuck it, I'll cut the end of it off. I'll cut the end of it. That much I know how to do. We are still recording. Fuck it, I'll cut the end. That much I know how to do. The problem I'm having right now with that going in after and doing the like adding the video shots and all that, or saying, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're still recording. Fuck it, I'll cut that part off. Basically, after we say bye, I'll have to see where that number is.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, no, it was great. I was totally pleased with our first one. It's just, again, I did. I thought that I was stopping something, but it was just well, like in the meat of when we were talking, that it went off. So I can totally edit this one. This one won't be a problem. This one won't be.
Cool.
Did you get everything in that you needed?
No, I was and I was really happy with that one. In actual fact, I think I felt a lot more confident in this one.
I should have left you the link. It's just, it pissed me off so much that it didn't. After I sent you the link, I'm like, fuck it. I got rid of it out of my computer. I should have kept it. Because I should have kept it for you, because the more we go, I could have went back and we could have made a comparison between the two, or I could have edited it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I was annoyed. I'm like, fuck this. Get it out of my computer.
Yeah.
This is perfect. I think so much time. Give me... I've got one that's coming out before you, and I'm obviously going to have to chop the end off. I don't know, week and a half. I'm sure we'll see each other on Messenger, on Facebook before then anyway.
Very well.
Thanks so much. I'll talk to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Paul. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.